Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, the first Black woman nominated to the Supreme Court, will face another round of questions this morning after spending hours on Tuesday defending her record against multiple Republican accusations. Let's talk about this now with CNN Plus anchor Audie Cornish. Audie, it is great to have you on New Day this morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
To talk about this, such a big process, such a historic process we're going through on Capitol Hill these few days here. She defended her record against Republican accusations. Let's listen to this first and then discuss it.
I do agree with both Justice Kavanaugh and Justice Barrett on this issue. Roe and Casey are the settled law of the Supreme Court concerning the right to terminate a woman's pregnancy.
Okay, that was her position on Roe v. Wade, saying that it's settled law. What do you think about what she means to this argument and the future of the law?
Well, I think it's interesting that she was asked this kind of question, but also very specific questions about, say, fetal personhood, right? These are issues that directly could come before the court. Lawmakers know she can't answer. They know that the way she answers has great implications going forward. It's really just about getting the question asked out loud and sort of trying to force her into some kind of reveal, so to speak. I would say probably 25 to 30 years of hearings have taught us that nominees are not going to do that.
What do you make so far of the Republican lines of questioning that have been lobbed against her? Everything from saying that she's not tough on child pornography, people who've been convicted of that, that she defends terrorists, that she's Marsha Blackburn talking about how she's a huge proponent of critical race theory when clearly the facts don't support what she's talking about.
The cynical view is that opponents want to hear her deny things, right? Even if they know it's not true. Another way to look at it is that the road to the federal bench is much easier for people with corporate clients, for people who are in politics. It is very difficult for people who have any kind of criminal defense experience. And in her case, let's look at it, it's about 2.5 years. But even her time on the Sentencing Commission is being held against her. Nobody wants to defend child molesters or terrorists or anything like that. But in forcing her to have a conversation that involves nuance in a media environment that does not reward it, you have her essentially playing defense, right? Instead of talking about the historical nature of her nomination, instead of talking about the reams and reams of other kinds of rulings that she has, she is now in the position of having to defend a constitutionally mandated role, for instance, right, of representing people that need representation. And, it says a lot about why people with that kind of experience cannot advance in this current environment, or I guess just in general.
This is historic. Do you think that is coming through and that will come through today?
I will say that there is an entire generation, in particular of Black and brown women, that this judge, in a way, is an avatar for or represents, meaning she is the logical conclusion of the promise of integration, right? The promise of the work that Thurgood Marshall had done. Those photos of her in Harvard with other young Black women laughing, talking about their education, the people who have come up with her, there's a vast number of voters who also look like her, right? And we've seen them exert their power in the last few elections. I'm not sure this is a bear you want to poke because their activism is quite strong. And I think that is something that we should all remember, that for many women who look and sound like Judge Jackson, they are used to having people second guess their credentials in one way or another. They're used to having to smile in the face of people who doubt them. And they don't look at her and see anything unusual, right? They see something that, in a way, they might identify with.
Yeah, it is on full display. I think that might be the difference. It is on full display there on Capitol Hill. Audie, thank you so much. It is wonderful to have you on set here on New Day.
Thank you so much for having me.
And you can catch Audie on CNN Plus coming up soon. That'll be starting next week.